Anthony Abdo.
Hello. My name is Anthony Abdo. I speak on behalf of Occupy Colorado Springs, which me and my daughter have participated in for some number of months. I joined Occupy Colorado Springs because some of y'all remember us from the St. Patty's Day parade, where your city government and the police teamed up with John O'Donnell, who does all the pro-military, pro-war stuff, parading troops through the town in support of U.S. militarism. Y'all teamed up to assault us on that because we were carrying a sign that said "Kids, not bombs." How many kids could have had their lives saved if, instead of assaulting people around the country, city governments had embraced the idea of kids, not bombs? Occupy Colorado Springs, to me, is kids, not bombs. It's Social Security, a livable Social Security, not bombs. Housing, not bombs. Medical care for everybody, not bombs. We could go on and on. It came from the group called Food, Not Bombs. Nobody gave a hoot about food either. They preferred the bombs. This is the city, military bases all over. I don't expect to convince y'all to my point of view, but we have the right to express our free speech in Colorado Springs without a campaign of menacing personal threats coming from Fort Carson active duty soldiers. Some of the Fort Carson active duty soldiers that are deployed to Afghanistan started coming to Occupy. Some of the women that were related to them had participated in Occupy Colorado Springs. They became increasingly angry because I made the simple sign, just like I had made the simple sign, "Kids, not bombs," that said, "Troops kill kids." Troops do kill kids, don't they? A couple of days ago, they killed some kids in Afghanistan. And I bet all of you are happy that soldier was not another Fort Carson, but Tacoma from Fort Lewis McChord got the blame on that one. I don't like being told that I'm having sex with my dog. I don't like people trying to get me fired from my job. I don't like people harassing, putting out posters saying that they'll pay money if someone can come up with the information about where I work, all because of a campaign of active duty troops from Fort Carson doing this. I call on the city to recognize Occupy, if it was anything, was a free speech movement. We're not going to be intimidated by thuggery coming from Fort Carson. Because you tolerate this, I give an example. It's not just us. You had a Fort Carson person broke his own kid's skull, baby skull, yesterday. If you or I or any other person had done that, we would have gotten 20 years. He had a history of abuse. He got, what was it? Was it 3 months probation or 9 months probation? No, 3 months, 9 months in jail, and then he's on probation. Because he's an active duty troop, and you coddle these troops in this city. You allow them to run, threaten and menace civilians here that speak out against our wars. I call on you, Mayor, to call Fort Carson and tell them to get their troops that are still on active duty under control, to stop their campaign of harassing members of Occupy Colorado Springs who do have an anti-war position. No, we're not against soldiers. We're not against soldiers. We allow them to talk in our meetings.
Mr. Abdo, would you wrap up your comments? You would see.
We allow them to talk. They told us they embraced the violence. They told us that they considered children combatants and they would shoot first and ask questions later. We gave them free speech. They wanted to deny it to us, and they're paid for by my tax dollars, and they're from Fort Carson. Please speak to that. Thank you.
PC Mulkey.
She had to step out.
Mr. Verlo, you're next.
My name is Eric Verlo, and I'm representing Occupy Colorado Springs. And I guess I wanted to just cover whatever Tony didn't. These were wanted flyers that have been posted throughout downtown. We found them posted in front of the hospital, Memorial Hospital, when we were there having a rally about universal health care for all. And some people have contacted me from online about finding these flyers. And when you have a wanted flyer for somebody, and this is not a sanctioned police department thing. It's somebody putting a bounty on somebody's head. Offering money for information. Most people won't have the information, but they'll look at it and kind of think, well, I want a part of this. And this is kind of lynch mob activity. And to me, it does look like something that would merit the city being able to clear the air about the fact that a person has a right to say that troops kill kids. And not only that, but troops do kill kids. We're seeing it all the time. It's part of the methodology. When we have a drone attack and we take out a family home in Pakistan or Afghanistan or Somalia or all the places that we're using drones, we know that there are children there and we kill them. So it probably would be, none of us like war, none of us want to be war makers, but we have to, I think, face the reality that that's what war means. And so when we make decisions about whether to go to war, we have to know that that means sending soldiers there to who will eventually be killing children, women and children, and non-combatants. And so I think it's everybody's responsibility to speak out against that and try to do whatever they can to avoid us being in a situation where we're doing that. When we participated in the St. Patrick's Day Parade, there was a concern. It was voiced that it was concern for our safety. The fact that if we would be saying something unpopular, that the residents of Colorado Springs would be opposed to that and would throw bottles or something like that. And that's not, I guess, that's not a status quo that we can be satisfied with. We live in a country which respects freedom of speech, but I'm hoping it also respects the truth. Our not saying that troops kill kids doesn't make it not happen, right? We have to face the fact that it happens, so that way we can be sure to start training soldiers not to do that. This is, I think, a really fundamental message that has to get out there, and we're looking for your help in some way to get on board in a cause for right. I mean, we're planning to. We have a permit. We're planning to march in this year's parade, and those of us who have the courage, and we have a wholesome message. I mean, our message at the hospital was about healthcare. It's not about the troops all the time, but we need to know that we're not going to be harassed in an extrajudicial manner. I hope this town does not tolerate lynch mobs. All right, thank you.
I'm tempted to not say anything, but I will tell you that if you count, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to include you if you allow me to do this. Of the 10 elected officials in the city, 5 of us are military veterans. And I think we take great umbrage at the accusations, implied or otherwise, that were made over the last few minutes. You've heard me say on multiple occasions up here, we served in the military to guarantee your right to stand at that podium and say whatever you'd like. But we can't accept the fact that inaccuracies are out there. And allegations, unfortunately, of criminal activities to reflect on all the military is an inaccurate statement and totally misrepresentative of the outstanding members of this community that have served or do serve in the military. And so we take great offense at those comments, and we salute all of those members for their service. And I hope you're okay with this.